Morning everyone, happy St. Paddy's Day. I hope you all had a good weekend, had a few Guinness. And yeah, we'll get straight into the weekend's fixtures. So, quite a decent weekend of football I thought. A lot of games we had on yesterday. I don't know if you all sat down to watch all of them. I think I sat down from about 1:30 to about 9 o'clock just watching football basically. Not just Prem as well, you know, you had the Atletico Barcelona game. But if we're going to talk about football this weekend, then we have to start in only one place and one place only, surely. And that's got to be Newcastle United. Wow. I think they shocked everyone, not just with the result, but with the way they played. They were very impressive. It's not... I remember I was doing my preview here and I thought, oh, they might... I don't know, I thought with Anthony Gordon maybe they would have had like a very decent chance, and then without him I was like, oh, I don't know, like Hall's out, Botman, I thought just stacking up against them all over again like it was last time. But was I wrong, or was I wrong? Because they outplayed Liverpool. This is probably the first time this season we've seen an English team actually just completely outplay them. Like, Liverpool didn't really have a foothold in the game at any point, apart from the last, well, not even the last 10 minutes, because when Liverpool did score their goal, so they had a foothold in the game at that point, Newcastle just controlled it again. Like, they took it back to the corner flag, they kept it in Liverpool's half. There was never a sense of jeopardy once Liverpool got the goal. Like, I never was watching that thinking, oh, they're gonna concede it. Like, it was Liverpool's one chance they had, really, apart from, I think maybe Szoboszlai might have had one which he glazed over the bar from like 8 yards out, something like that. That was a big chance, and I think that might have been the first half. But overall, fair play to Newcastle. You know, they absolutely deserved it. They played the exact same way they did against Arsenal in the first leg, in the first half of that first leg, really, where they just pressed. Like, they went really high, really aggressive, man for man, and just went basically half-court press. Like, they just pressed on the top half of that field, and it paid off. Liverpool, it was really interesting watching them actually, because without Trent, they lost a lot of their playing out the back ability, because what they were doing was, keeper would get it, he'd try to play centre-backs, they'd be marked, so he couldn't do that. Full-backs couldn't do that without the risk of giving the ball away. So the least risky option was to go long, but then you're going long to Dan Burn basically. So you had Jota up top fighting against Dan Burn, which was just never going to be a good matchup, you know. I don't know if you guys were watching the Sky Sports coverage of it, but I remember at half time Carragher was going on about the Liverpool set pieces and saying, Liverpool should be taking McAllister off Burn and putting Jota on him. I was thinking, has he lost it? Like, Jota's also like 5'8", 5'9". Dan Burn's like big 6'5" or whatever he is, and he's saying Jota can jump against him. It's like, that's not how it works. If Burn jumps, Jota's not reaching like 6-7 foot. You know what I mean? So it was just a really weird comment from him. The way I looked at it was, the easy fix they could have done, if they really wanted to, was take Konate out of the zonal marking system potentially, just leave him on Burn, and then put Quansah in that space, because they weren't using the space anyway. So if you stick Quansah in the space, it's not going to make much difference, because they weren't coming to attack that space anyway. And Quansah's not horrendous in the air, you know, he's a tall guy. He's meant to be a centre half, so put him in there. It's probably not even going to go to him anyway, because they were just aiming for Dan Burn the whole time. Yeah, that was just really weird from Carragher. I was thinking, my reaction was literally, I can see why he wasn't a manager, because that made absolutely no sense. Swap out a 5'6" player for a 5'9" player to mark a 6'6" player. Like, honestly. But anyway, avoiding that, you've got to stick with some positives here, because Newcastle were outstanding on the day, and they scored Liverpool. They literally scored, and they just wanted it more. You could see the first 5-10 minutes, they were right up for the game. Liverpool just never got going, and that wasn't, like I said, I was trying to get into the whole Liverpool struggling to play out the back point. I got on a tangent to set pieces, but yeah, without Trent, Liverpool, they had to go along to Dan Burn, but they had no one up there to actually compete with Dan Burn. And then the midfield were too deep from the attack because they were trying to play out. So there's just ended up being this massive space in between their midfield and... Oh, sorry, let me just double check there's no ambulance. There is, potentially. Okay, it's going. It's fine. That's fine. Just gotta be careful with the ambulances. Make sure to double check. Pull over if you can. Anyway. Sorry, yeah. Anyway. My mind's completely blank after that whole ambulance thing. Yeah, Liverpool out the back just couldn't do it without Trent. So it's going to be really interesting if they can actually find the solution to that. I would have thought. So what happened at half time when it was 1-0, or even just before half time? I remember obviously it was 0-0. We're thinking, oh, when I was sitting with my mates, I was like, Liverpool have been really poor. But the amount of times this season we've seen Liverpool being poor first half and come out second half and go and just get the win, we've seen it countless times. So they needed to get a goal before half time. They did that, and then you still thought Liverpool come out second half and they're just going to batter them, the whole game. We were literally saying like, oh, they're going to have to play like a 5 at the back, 5 in midfield, just literally do what they did against Arsenal in the second half, and just hit them on the break. But they did not do that in Newcastle. They came to them again second half, and Liverpool just didn't know what to do. I don't think Slot knew what to do. When it went 2-0, I think I don't want to say panicked, but some of the changes he was making it just didn't make sense. Like, took Kanate off and then moved Garen Birch into defence, but he still had Quanta right back. And then some of the things, and they brought on about 7 forwards. I know they're losing 2-0. Brought on 7 forwards, but had no midfielders, so they couldn't even get the ball forwards because they couldn't progress the ball. If they were going to hit it, they were hitting it long, but then they had no one to hit long, which didn't make sense. Now, I don't want to go too much into Arne Slot because he is going to win the Premier League in his first year as a manager in the Prem, but it's something to think about going forward for Liverpool next season. Obviously, with Trent's contract up, Van Dijk's contract up, and Salah's, I think on the back of that game, it would not surprise me if all 3 left. Not because of what happened in the game, but I was just looking at it going, Van Dijk, is he going to want to... I can see him just going for not an easy ride in Germany, but I've been seeing reports that Bayern Munich won him, and it's like, he would be the main man again, but he'd be in the top team, no doubt about it. Whether in England, he's done everything he wants to do basically in England, let's be honest. He's won everything, apart from the FA Cup, I don't think. But anyway, they've won everything. He doesn't need to stay for anyone. I just think, I don't know if he wants to keep going here. Every time I see him play, he just looks frustrated. And there's so much weight on his shoulders in that defence. And then Salah's been very quiet the last couple of weeks. I don't really want to go too hard on him because I know it's the middle of Ramadan for him, so it could be affecting his performances. But I don't want to comment too much on him because I don't think it's very fair to do that when he's been outstanding all season and it happens to fall off in the middle of Ramadan. So I don't know if it's related, but it definitely could be, because he hasn't really been himself Against Southampton, he didn't really do anything. He got 2 penalties. PSG was kept really quiet. Yesterday, barely touched the ball. I don't remember him on the ball pass. He did one little Trivella pass. That's all I remember him doing. I thought Tino kept him really quiet. And fair play to Livramento, you know. Left back's not his favourite position, but he did an outstanding job yesterday. And it's like I said, my preview, he had to have a good game and he had to defend well and stay back, basically. And he did. And they reaped all the rewards from it. So it'll be interesting to see how Newcastle kick on from it, if they do kick on. If the players want more success or they're happy with what they've got. That's the big test now. I can see Newcastle kicking on from here a little bit. I think their next 3 games are very winnable games. They've got, off the top of my head, they've got Brentford, United at home, and Palace. I think Palace at home, Brentford away. I think that's what it is, and Newcastle and United at home. I think it's them 3 teams. I can't remember if Brentford or Palace are at home or away. Yeah, they're all winnable games, and they win all 3 of them. All of a sudden, they're probably up there with favourites for the top 4. I've done a little predictor, and I'm working on the video. I had one done last week, but I was too slow getting it out, so it's a bit outdated now. So I'm gonna update it again for the last 10 games of the season, and then go from there. But yeah, I think Newcastle have all the momentum now to go and get that European spot. Obviously, they've already got the Conference League sorted, but they're going to want the big one. You know, these players have played in the Champions League, they've got a taste of it, and it has definitely matured the squad. So they're definitely going to want to go again. Isak, I don't know what everyone else thought of the offside goal, but I don't know how you can give offside there. I understand how they've done it. They've said Bruno is in an offside position, but the question I think you've got to ask yourself there is, if Bruno's not there, does Kelleher do anything differently? Because he's not actually in the field of vision for him originally. He ends up being the field of vision as he's diving across. So realistically, is Kelleher going to make a different save? Like, I've been a goalkeeper many times myself. It's not going to make a hell of a difference what he does there. The issue with Kelleher was that he palmed it out into an area where Isak was just waiting for it. Like, he should have palmed it a bit further out. I know, again, he's been quality for them this season, so not really someone I want to drill into, because I didn't think he actually had a bad game. I just didn't agree that it should be offside. I don't know, I understand why they gave it, but I just think that rule needs to be looked at, because they've given it for anyone who's pushed behind the defensive line now. Like, it's not even related to field of vision anymore. I think it should be a case of, would it change anything if the player was not there? And if Bruno was not there, it would not make a hell of a difference there. I'm telling you now, he did the exact same save, exact same outcome. He hasn't interfered with the play, in my opinion. But Isak winning a trophy for Newcastle could be massive for the summer. Because I look at it and I think he's definitely got the approval to leave now. You know, he's come and he's done what they wanted him to do, win a trophy. That's all they wanted, and they've done it now. So I think there's every chance in the summer that he could be looked at by other clubs, and he could definitely go. I think I'd be a little worried if I was Newcastle in terms of letting him go. I'd make sure that he's not going to like a top 4 rival. In terms of someone they compete with, someone like a Chelsea, or I don't know if United have money for him, but you know, someone like that, I wouldn't be letting him go to, who might be catching them up. He's probably going to go to a title winning side or title competing side. I would love to take him at Arsenal, but there are a lot of links to Liverpool now, so I'm a bit worried about that. Hopefully Arsenal can get it done with this new sporting director we got him. And speaking of Arsenal, we'll go on to their game now. 1-0 against Chelsea. I think I predicted a little 2-0 win, so I was pretty close. And it was a game that we pretty much expected, to be honest. We dominated the game in large parts. We probably should have got more, but our finishing just wasn't there, and it's just a case of same as usual, same old. We just haven't got the cutting throat up top in the wide positions to get goals, and we just saw the game out really. As soon as it went 1-0, I just feel like, well, yeah, we're not conceding, because we looked at the Chelsea team and then there's just not enough goals in that Chelsea team. They're very similar to us. You know, Pedro Neto's a good player, but you're playing him as a striker, and it's just, he doesn't want to be there. Sancho is not a goal scorer. Who else do they have on? Nkunku playing left mid, left wing. Just didn't look at. He looked out of place. I think he'll be leaving in the summer. I don't think Enzo sees him as a forward, a centre forward, and he's not a centre forward. I was trying to discuss yesterday. He is that Thomas Muller-esque player in terms of he doesn't really have position. He just plays in and around the striker, and he's quite unlucky, to be fair, because when he signed, there was no Cole Palmer originally. Like, that position wasn't taken up, but once he's actually got to the club, it's all changed for him, obviously, with Cole Palmer coming through, and it's taken his position that he would have probably just taken himself. Sorry, yeah, because we look at we look at Nkunku, and he would do very well actually with Jackson up front. I think them two would actually bounce off each other really well, but he's never going to get that chance now because Cole Palmer is Cole Palmer. You know, he is that guy, and he's just never going to get a look in the team. Arsenal wise, I think we just need to keep winning our games. That's all we can do now. I think the league title's done. It would be quite funny if Liverpool crumbled after this Carabao Cup game and they end up going on like a really bad run. But I think there's nothing better for Liverpool now to have the international break to reset. They've got Everton at home after it, so that's a massive morale boost if they get a good result there. And yeah, I think there's no chance in the league. They're not going to go and lose 4 games in a row. But I think if they lose against Everton somehow, and they lose against Everton, and they go 9, we're only 9 points clear, I still don't think there's any sort of chance. But it'll be quite entertaining to see if they did have a little wobble now towards the end of the season, because this is when the run-in starts. You know, 10 games to go. They are 12 points clear, so I don't see it happening, but you never know. Stranger things happen in football. I think Arsenal-wise, we just need to keep going momentum. We don't want to crumble away in the league and then have Real Madrid to play, so we need to just keep going and keep winning games so that we are used to it for Real Madrid. You know, the last thing we want to see is we go into Real Madrid with no form. We should have Saka back soon as well. After the international break, hopefully he should be back. Fingers crossed. We need that boy fit. And then we're going straight into the Real Madrid game, which is going to be a huge test for us. But yeah, league-wise, just have to keep winning, keep churning out results. If we keep scoring corners, so be it. As long as there's results coming in. Just keep second place, cement second place. You know, get the prize money for that at least. 3 years in the trot will be second. It's frustrating, but it is what it is. You know, we can't cry about it now. There's teams in worse positions. We've been in much worse positions than this, so we just got to take it on the chin and crack on, and then just hope for the best in the Champions League. But Mikel Merino, striker, he's doing well in parts, but I look at the Real Madrid game and I just think you cannot go into that game with Mikel Merino as your number 9. I still want to see Nwaneri in that false 9, but I don't think I'm going to get to see it. I'm not going to lie. I just don't see it happening. I don't see him playing that player there. Yeah, I just don't see that happening. And then any of the games that we could quickly look at, I'm nearly at work, so I need to. If I'm going to look at games, I need to pick now. The United game, 3-0. I say 3-0. It was Leicester, and Leicester are woeful now, and any jeopardy in the relegation battle was done. Like, there was never a question about it. But United looked better. They looked a bit more free flowing, a bit more cohesive between them. You know, that players are starting to learn the system a bit more, and I think the Europa League's massively helping Amorim here. I think without the Europa League, he could be struggling a bit more, but it's letting them get some momentum going. You know, I think they did really well to get past Sociedad, and it's going to set up a decent little running for them. I think they have a very good chance of actually going all the way. Which, if Amorim can win a Europa League in his first season, that would be massive. Obviously, like that would secure them Champions League football, which is huge for Newcastle. Not Newcastle, for bloody for Man United, because they will finish whatever 15th, 16th in the league, 40th, whatever it is. I think they're 13th right now, but they could easily come 15th in the league. You know, it wouldn't shock me. But they could get Champions League football. That would give them money to spend as well. And with how bad the club's position is financially, it could be huge for them. So watch out. I think they have a very decent chance. I think Bilbao are the team they've got to watch out for, really. But yeah, I am now at work, so I'm going to have to leave you guys. I will have a little look at the other games as well, maybe later on today, because there was a lot of football this weekend. There's too much for me to talk about in 20 minutes, unfortunately. But I will have a discussion on my way home about the rest of the games, or about other stuff like the England squad. There's a lot of stuff that's happened, and I don't really get to do videos on the weekend that much. So yeah, thank you guys for coming along, and peace.